Stand here more than 1,000 years ago, and you wouldn't see castles, cathedrals, or bustling cities. You would find endless forests, mist-covered rivers, scattered wooden villages, and fierce tribes living on Europe's frontier. Few could have imagined that these lands would become one of the continent's greatest powers, a kingdom that would withstand invasion, unite nations, and shape the fate of Europe itself. This is the story of Poland's extraordinary rise. The history of Poland is unlike that of almost any other nation. Across the next 8 centuries, this land will transform from a collection of pagan tribes into a vast commonwealth stretching from the Baltic Sea toward the Black Sea. It will survive devastating invasions, produce legendary kings, build magnificent cities, and create one of Europe's most remarkable political experiments. But every golden age casts a long shadow. By the end of this journey, the first cracks will begin to appear in what once seemed an unstoppable power. Welcome to medieval Poland. Before the kingdom, around the year 900, the lands we now call Poland were covered by dense forests, winding rivers, marshes, and open plains. Wolves roamed beneath towering oaks, bison crossed ancient woodlands, and smoke rose from fortified wooden settlements hidden among the trees. Life revolved around the seasons. Farmers cultivated rye and barley. Hunters tracked game through endless forests. There was no single Polish nation yet. Instead, dozens of West Slavic tribes defended their own territories behind timber walls and earthen ramparts. Each had its own leaders, customs, and sacred places. Their gods were found not inside churches, but within ancient groves, beside rivers, and atop hills, where rituals connected communities to the natural world. Among these tribes, one would gradually become dominant: the Polans. Their homeland around modern Greater Poland became the foundation upon which an entirely new kingdom would be built. The birth of Poland. Everything changed with one man, Mieszko I. By the middle of the 10th century, Mieszko understood that survival depended on more than military strength. Powerful Christian kingdoms surrounded his lands, and remaining outside their world meant constant danger. In 966, he accepted Christianity. Known today as the Baptism of Poland, this decision forever altered the country's destiny. Churches replaced pagan shrines. Mieszko's son, Bolesław the Brave, carried that ambition even further. A gifted warrior and diplomat, he expanded Poland's influence across Central Europe and, in 1025, became the first crowned king of Poland. New strongholds appeared across the kingdom. Craftsmen forged weapons, merchants crowded growing marketplaces, and churches rose above expanding towns. Yet the centuries that followed were anything but stable. After the deaths of powerful rulers, Poland fragmented into competing duchies. Rival princes fought for power, while neighboring kingdoms watched closely. Then, in 1241, disaster arrived from the east. The Mongols. Entire settlements burned. Refugees fled through forests, carrying only what they could hold. At the Battle of Legnica, Polish and Allied forces attempted to halt the invasion. They failed, although the Mongols soon turned away toward other campaigns. The destruction exposed just how vulnerable the divided kingdom had become. Poland needed unity once again, the king who rebuilt a nation. That unity arrived under Casimir III, remembered as Casimir the Great. His reign transformed Poland more through construction than conquest. Stone castles replaced aging wooden fortifications. Town squares filled with merchants speaking many languages. Roads became safer. Trade expanded. New laws strengthened royal authority. And in 1364, one event symbolized Poland's growing confidence. More than any other, the founding of the University of Krakow. Scholars, philosophers, lawyers, and astronomers would gather here for centuries, helping turn Krakow into one of Europe's leading intellectual centers. People later said that Casimir inherited a kingdom built of wood and left one built of stone. It was more than a compliment, a union that changed Europe. In 1386, the marriage of Queen Jadwiga of Poland and Grand Duke Jogaila of Lithuania united two powerful states. What began as a dynastic union would eventually grow into one of Europe's largest and most influential political powers. Its greatest early triumph came in 1410. At the Battle of Grunwald, Polish and Lithuanian forces defeated the Teutonic Order in one of medieval Europe's largest battles. The victory echoed across the continent. A new great power had arrived. The 16th century became Poland's golden age. Krakow flourished with Renaissance architecture, colorful markets, and royal ceremonies. Along the Vistula River, grain flowed toward Baltic ports, enriching merchants and nobles alike. Magnificent manor houses appeared across the countryside. Its political system was equally extraordinary. The king ruled alongside a parliament of nobles, creating a unique, if imperfect, experiment in representative government. But history rarely allows empires to stand still. Then, in 1655, catastrophe struck. Swedish armies poured into the Commonwealth in a conflict that would become known as the Deluge. City after city surrendered, castles fell, churches were looted, libraries burned, and entire towns were left in ruins. The defense of the Jasna Gora monastery became a symbol of hope, proving that the Commonwealth still had the strength to fight. Although the invaders were eventually driven out, the scars of the deluge would remain for generations. Yet amid these struggles emerged one of history's most iconic cavalry forces, the Winged Hussars. Armored horsemen carrying long lances thundered across battlefields, with towering feathered frames rising behind them, becoming symbols of courage and military brilliance. Their most celebrated moment came in 1683. Outside Vienna, King John III Sobieski led a massive cavalry charge that helped break the Ottoman siege of the city. The victory reverberated throughout Europe. Sobieski became a legend. The Winged Hussars became immortal. But behind the celebration, deeper problems remained. Political paralysis weakened government. Powerful nobles increasingly pursued their own interests. Foreign rivals grew stronger. As the year 1700 approached, Poland stood at a crossroads. It had risen from scattered tribal settlements to become one of Europe's greatest kingdoms. Storm clouds gathered beyond the horizon. In the next chapter, those clouds will break. Poland will be invaded, partitioned, erased from the map of Europe. If you enjoyed this journey through medieval Poland, consider subscribing for the next chapter of this remarkable history.